Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please rise as our guest of honor enters the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of the Right Honorable Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib bin Tun Abdul Razak, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, accompanied by the Honorable Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein, Minister of Defence, Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you.
The Right Honorable Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib bin Tun Abdul Razak, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On this gracious and auspicious afternoon, we welcome all of you to the Putrajaya Forum 2018.
The theme for this forum is Recalibrating Regional Security Architecture. This forum is aimed at providing an avenue for discussion and exchange of knowledge among leaders, policymakers, researchers, senior defense and security officials, and academia on issues related to international and regional defense and security.
To grace this Putrajaya Forum 2018, we now invite Major Muhammad Nizar Zahrin bin Zakaria to recite the dua.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا حامدين حمدا شاكرين حمدا ناعمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, all praise due to Almighty Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the world. Ya Allah, on this glorious and auspicious afternoon, in conjunction with the Putrajaya Forum 2018, we raise our hands to pray gratefully, to seek your infinite blessing upon us, your humble servants, to live in peace and harmony. Ya Allah, we also pray and ask for your blessings to make this occasion successful. Ya Allah, we seek your mercy and guidance to bless our efforts and to protect us from any distraction and inconvenience throughout this event. Ya Allah, we beg you to provide us with the strength, wisdom, and perseverance in our continuous effort to place the nation at the apex of glory. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana haza jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Right Honorable Datuk Sri Muhammad Najib bin Tun Abdul Razak, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver his opening address and subsequently to officially declare the Putrajaya Forum 2018 open.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good afternoon, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Syamuddin Tun Sen On, Minister Defence Malaysia, Honourable Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Excellencies, Defence and Security Chiefs, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first offer my thanks to Datuk Seri Syamuddin, Defence Minister Malaysia, for inviting me to speak to you this afternoon. As you can gather, I have a few things on my mind lately, but the opportunity to attend this conference gives me a good respite from whatever I'm doing currently. I am delighted to be joined by so many distinguished government representatives, policymakers, business people, and opinion leaders, all here to mark the 5th edition of the Putrajaya Forum at the Mer Trade Exhibition and Convention Centre, Kuala Lumpur. Ladies and gentlemen, in ASEAN, we've always taken regional security very seriously. Seriously indeed. In many ways, that was the raison d'etre, the very reason, or one of the pillars for the formation of our association and the ASEAN concept of the Zone of Peace, Freedom, and Neutrality, or ZOPFAN, which was adopted in 1971, remains as relevant as ever. It called for our association to remain free from any manner of interference by outside powers in order to broaden our strength, solidarity, and close relations. Malaysia has always played its part in efforts to boost security cooperation between nations in the region. The Malacca Straits Patrol Initiative, which brings together Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Thailand, is one example. And of course, I can claim I had a small hand in that initiative. More recently, in June last year, we launched the Trilateral Maritime Patrol with Indonesia and the Philippines, which will fight terrorism and transnational crime in the Sulu Sea. Such a measure is more urgent than before, as the siege of Marawi made starkly clear that despite our past successes in fighting terrorism, our region is far from immune from the horrors of violent extremism. Ladies and gentlemen, events far away can impact our regional security. The tragedy of the Syrian civil war lies not just in the nearly 500,000 people who have died, the 4.8 million who have been driven from their country, and the 6.1 million who have been internally displaced, but it also lies in the space it opened up for the horrors and madness of Daesh, which 95 Malaysians joined in Syria and Iraq. 34 of them died in conflict zones, 9 of them as suicide bombers. To our dismay and revulsion, they are not alone. They have sympathizers in our part of the world. There are others who would actively follow in their footsteps, both abroad and in our region. Further, such organizations can appeal to desperate people. We fear that if the appalling situation of the Rohingya Muslim minority in Rakhine State is not properly addressed, militant elements could infiltrate this oppressed community. We acknowledge that the government of Myanmar has taken some steps to tackle a crisis which many have said amounts to ethnic cleansing. However, far more is needed. The root cause must be addressed urgently in its entirety, and we call on the government of Myanmar to facilitate the safe and dignified return of refugees to their homes and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, we in Malaysia stand ready to actively contribute to regional security. As a third-party facilitator for the Southern Philippines peace process, Malaysia helped the participants reach the final peace agreement between the Philippine government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. The Bangsa-Moro Basic Law, which follows from the agreement, has been certified as urgent by President Duterte, and he has urged Congress in Manila to help him fast-track it so that it can be enacted within the year. Malaysia is also the facilitator to the Southern Thailand Peace Dialogue that has been ongoing since 2013. Peace and stability in these areas will contribute to the creation of an environment that is conducive for economic development, which will in itself make these areas and the whole of the region safer and more secure. Ladies and gentlemen, moderation, or the Quranic concept of wasatiyah, is also a crucial shield against extreme ideologies, radicalization, and terrorism. This is why I propose the idea of a global movement of moderates during my speech at the 65th session of and other extremist groups. The selection by King Salman of Malaysia as a country to host this important institute reflects the confidence the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has in Malaysia and underlines that we are key allies in the fight to promote moderation and regional security. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about regional security architecture, we tend to think about what nations are doing together. But our own domestic security architecture is a vital part of the whole. Indeed, the very foundations of international security are weak when countries do not properly address the safety of their own populations. In Malaysia, my government has passed a number of laws, including the National Security Council Act, the Prevention of Terrorism Act, and the Security Offences Special Measures Act. Why? Because we are determined to ensure that our citizens are protected and that our security services could do their work freely and effectively. There has so far been only one, I would describe as partially successful Daesh-linked attacks in Malaysia, in which thankfully no lives were lost. But we had to be prepared. In fact, from 2013 until now, 389 people have been arrested in Malaysia for Daesh-linked activities. Again, I make no apology for ensuring that our police and security services have all the tools necessary to combat those who would bring death and destruction to our soil. At this point, let me pay tribute to the brave men and women who strive daily to keep Malaysia safe. And let me assure the Malaysian people that their safety and security will always be my first priority. Ladies and gentlemen, doing our utmost to protect Malaysians also means protecting them from the scourge of fake news, which is why we recently passed an act to combat this. This can certainly pose a security threat, and we have seen many instances around the world where, contrary to the Zogfan principle, fake news has been used as a tool of interference, which strangely some opposition leaders now say they welcome. As patriotic Malaysians, I can tell you that the members of my government do not. We will not compromise our sovereignty by allowing other countries or individuals tell us what to do and who to choose. The future of our country is for the Malaysian people to decide, and they should do so on the basis of facts, not on fake news of lies, propaganda, false promises, and illusions. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the people of this country will soon be making that choice. So let me tell you that the Barisan Nasional government will continue to preserve the liberty and safety enjoyed by Malaysians while increasing our efforts to manage and contain all present and future threats. Amongst many other measures we are committed to include increasing control posts and monitoring systems along our borders to prevent smuggling and combat human trafficking as well as terrorist threats, enhancing the weapons capability of the security forces stationed in the Eastern Sabah Security Zone, increasing the monitoring of land borders in Sabah and Sarawak through the Border Control Agency in Malaysia, expanding the community security role through People's Volunteer Corps, which includes Watania Rela, in order to prevent crime in security zones, increasing government cooperation with local defense industry players to develop Malaysian-made defense technologies, establishing a cyber defense operations center under the Ministry of Defense to defend critical national assets from cyber attacks, continuing efforts to resolve regional conflicts, especially in southern Mindanao, southern Thailand, and Rakhine State in Myanmar. In addition, we will transform PDRM elite corps, such as the Special Tactics and Intelligence Narcotics Group, Special Task Force on Organized Crime, and Special Task Force for Anti-Vice, Gambling, and Gangsterism, to increase the effectiveness of efforts in eradicating drug trafficking, gambling, triad gangs, and organized crime. Our fight against crime has resulted in an impressive 53% reduction in the National Crime Index in 8 years. We will increase the number of high-definition closed-circuit television cameras in high-income areas. We will establish a 1,000-person capacity special prison with an integrated electronic security system for persons detained under the Prevention of Crimes Act and the Prevention of Terrorism Act. And we will further ensure the welfare and well-being of security forces personnel by building new housing, expanding healthcare, and upgrading facilities for them and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, I have outlined just some of the many steps this government has taken to support the regional security architecture, both home and abroad. Let me conclude by reminding everyone present of the importance of continuing to uphold the regional mechanisms for cooperation within the region and also beyond the region that have been fundamental to our stability for so long. Our region has seen great successes over the last 50 years, and I'm certain that more are to follow with even greater inter-regional engagement. Let me congratulate MIDAS for their organization of this event. I have no doubt that the distinguished speakers and panels you have assembled will contribute many useful suggestions and observations to improve further our regional defense and security. On that note, with the kalimah Bismillah Rahman Rahim, I declare the Putrajaya Forum 2018 officially open. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Dato' Sri. Thank you.
As a gesture of appreciation, we would like to invite the Honorable Dato' Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein, Minister of Defense, Malaysia, to present the memento to the Right Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you, Dato' Sri.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, announcing the departure of the Prime Minister of Malaysia.